Okay, so something huge is happening right now at one of the biggest companies on the planet. And honestly, it's a sign of a massive change that's eventually going to affect every single one of us. We're going to get right into what's going on, and more importantly, what it means for the future of work.
Let's just start with a number. 500,000. And I want you to really let that sink in. This isn't just some abstract statistic. We're talking about 500,000 people, 500,000 families whose lives are on the verge of being turned completely upside down.
I mean, to put that number in perspective, people are calling this the single largest corporate workforce displacement ever. This isn't your typical layoff. No way. This is a deliberate strategic plan to replace a human workforce on a scale we have literally never seen before in history.
So what is this plan, really? What's the strategy behind a number that big? Let's take a closer look and break it all down. So here it is. This is the playbook. Over the next 8 years or so, Amazon is planning to automate 3/4 of its operations. And the goal? Well, it's all about efficiency. The idea is to swap out human workers for robots so they can double their sales volume without having to double their human payroll.
So who exactly are these 500,000 people? Well, they're the folks who are the absolute backbone of Amazon's whole empire. The people in the warehouses, the ones sorting your packages, packing the boxes, and coordinating that incredibly complex dance of getting things from point A to point B. And these roles, they are being systematically targeted for replacement.
You know, it's really easy to get lost in the spreadsheets and the corporate strategy here, but we've got to look beyond the numbers. What's the real, on-the-ground impact for these 500,000 human beings?
And this quote, wow, it just says it all, doesn't it? We're talking about the very same employees whose hard work and physical labor built the system that is now about to make them obsolete. They created unbelievable value, but it looks like they won't be sharing in the rewards.
I mean, just look at the two sides of this coin. It is a tale of two completely different realities. For the shareholders, hey, this plan is a huge win. Lower costs, more output, better profits. But for the workers and their communities, the picture is, well, it's devastating. We're looking at mass job loss and the potential for real economic trouble for entire towns built around these centers.
But here's the thing you absolutely have to understand. As big as this is, it would be a huge mistake to think this is just an Amazon story. It's not. This is just the leading edge of a much, much bigger wave that's heading straight for all of us. Think about it. The same logic, the same technology, it applies to so many other industries. Warehousing and retail, those are the obvious ones. But delivery drivers? Even a whole bunch of traditional office jobs are right in the crosshairs. This isn't a blue-collar thing or a white-collar thing, it's an everywhere thing.
So I want you to just pause for a second and ask yourself this question really honestly. If you woke up tomorrow and got an email saying your role has been automated, what's your plan? Do you even have one? And that question, it brings every single one of us to a really critical choice, a fork in the road. We can either just sit back and wait for these changes to happen to us, or we can get proactive and start building a different future for ourselves.
And let's be super clear about one thing. Waiting is the most dangerous move you can make. Just hoping the government will figure something out or that some company will create a new policy, that's putting your entire future in somebody else's hands. The other path? It's about taking the wheel yourself. It's about building something that you own, something that nobody can outsource or automate away from you. That right there is where real security is going to come from in this new economy.
Okay, so you're probably thinking, that sounds great, but how? Where do I even start? That's a fair question. Let's talk about one possible path forward that a lot of people are starting to look at.
This exact challenge is why platforms like InstantSideBiz.com have started popping up. The whole idea behind them is to make starting a business accessible to everyone, giving regular people a starting point to learn a proven system and build something for themselves from scratch. So what does it take to get started down this road? You might be surprised. The barriers are lower than they have ever been. If you've got a smartphone and you can get online, you've already got the basic tools. The only other thing you need is that desire to take back control. And the process they usually lay out is pretty straightforward. It's not rocket science. It's not getting access to the right information, learning a step-by-step system that's already worked for other people, and then just starting to build an asset that is 100% yours. So we come back to this central idea. Waiting is the most dangerous option. And that means your first step, whatever you decide it's going to be, needs to happen now, not when you're forced to. Look,
It all comes down to this. You can't wait until you're one of the 500,000. You can't wait until your industry is the next one in the headlines. The time to build your own safety net is long before you actually need it.
So for anyone who's thinking about this path, about taking matters into their own hands, resources like InstantSideBiz.com are out there. They represent a choice. The choice to build your own future, instead of letting someone else decide it for you.
And that really leaves us with the final question. It's the question that's going to define this era for all of us. So, what's it going to be? Will a robot take your job, or will you build your own?